Peace and blessings, everybody. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Thank you for being here. Hey, y'all. So let me get some a little bit of music going. All right, everybody, come on in, come on. Everybody's having today. Shout out to the content creators providing great content, right? Entertainment, all of that good stuff. So listen, we're going to talk about some things today in regards to a topic associated with, some changes and some implementations when it comes to the beautiful bill, right? And listen, I know that people need and they desire, and it helps people in transitional, in my opinion. All of these things, in my opinion. Let me go and put my banner up, my fair use, and these are my personal opinions, as I'm saying. So, what my point is that we have to understand that governmental beneficial programs such as Section 8, EBT, Medicaid, they're supposed to assist you in getting a leg up in establishing some stability, giving you an opportunity to make some improvements in your life, not meant to be a lifetime crutch. There's a whole lot of different, for lack of a better word, limitations that are placed upon you, criteria, restrictions. It's not meant for people to dream and be on Section 8. It's not meant for people to feel limitless, having to reapply for EBT or SNAP benefits. You can't make a certain amount of money. You have to work a certain amount of hours, or you can't work over a certain amount of hours, or your benefits will be decreased, or they will be totally terminated, right? So listen, we're gonna get off into it. This isn't just about WIC, food stamps, EBT. This is really about the entire system and how things have been shaped around the dependency, the survival, and in some cases, the manipulation of the system. This is not meant, or was not originally intended, for single parents or single mothers to use children as paychecks or as security for programs like Section 8 and SNAP benefits and medical. There's a sense of entitlement that has accumulated and been solidified over time with the expectation. And the first video clip I'm going to show shows how this woman is unraveling to the tune of $4,000 a month in SNAP benefits. Now, I don't know how many children this woman's got. And I'm almost positive that I was reading in the comments and that this has gone viral on some platforms where she has been getting to the tune, like I said, about $4,000 a month in SNAP benefits, when you have veterans out here that can't even qualify for anything over $15 or $20 a month. Why? Because they make too much money. You have elderly veterans that can't work and pull up other kinds of jobs or perform full-time employment in other areas, and they can't qualify for more than $15, $20 a month for SNAP benefits. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. Shout out to the chat. Hey, DT, thank you for coming through. We got Lonnie One Love in the building. Hello, hello. I know what you meant, baby. It's all good. So we're talking about the the governmental assistance programs and the pros and the cons, not just the bad, but the good as well, and different perspectives. So that is my intent for this particular live stream and video. And with that being said, let's go ahead.
They're lying. I need somebody to fucking tell me they're lying right fucking now, because what the fuck do you mean that I'm not gonna get my fucking SNAP benefits? What the fuck do you mean? Because what the fuck is happening? Do you understand that there are people like me who cannot work? Do you understand there are people like me who have kids who cannot eat? Do you understand there are people like me who go hungry the last week of the month just so my kids can't eat? Because SNAP benefits is all we fucking get?
Okay, so I want to start off by saying she said that she cannot work. Now, I want to be transparent here and state that there are disabilities that people cannot see, that are not visible to the eye. A lot of mental, internal, that doesn't reflect on the physical or the outward appearance, at least, for some time or whatnot, or whatever the case may be. No one is saying that those that are disabled or incapable of working full-time employment jobs don't deserve to be assisted in some type of way, or that there shouldn't be programs out here to be able to assist the disabled, the elderly, the physically incapable, the mentally incapable. Nobody is making fun of the situation. Nobody is minimizing the effects of the situation. I am just using this as an example of the level of dependency that is on these governmental assistance programs. Now, do I believe that if in case, this is all alleged, right? If in fact she is getting that substantial amount of money for her children per month, per 30-day cycle, again, I don't know how many children she has, but it just seems like I don't know of any families that use $4,000 or require $4,000 to feed their families. I don't know of anybody. Again, we have veterans and we have people that qualify for only $15, $20 a month. I'm getting ready to say an hour, but it's not an hour. It's a month, every 30 days. You can't get a loaf of bread, a gallon of milk, and a dozen of eggs for less than $20, in my opinion and my personal experience, right? So I just wanted to make that disclaimer that no one is making fun or minimizing what this young lady is experiencing with the adjustments that have been discussed coming down the pike when it comes to the changes in the governmental programs such as EBT, but this is her reaction.
I need somebody to please fucking tell me he's lying. I can't. What the fuck am I gonna do?
So, again, when it comes to these programs, y'all, I'm trying to gather myself here. The goal is to empower people during tough seasons and not to label long-term dependency on these programs. And I'm speaking of as a whole, right? I'm speaking of as in general. So definitely I want to cover some pros on the topic, as well again at some of the cons. Lonnie says, did they cut her off or cut her food stamps down? I'm not really sure, to be honest. There are so many different videos with so many different responses that I just kind of picked one of them that have gone viral, but that's a great question. I'm not really sure, but either way, she is feeling some type of way and absolutely distraught with the inability to feel like she's able to feed her children with these certain changes that are being implemented or that are being proposed to be implemented through these programs, right? Through this current administration. Now, I also want to offer some solutions. Of course, that is my whole goal in doing streams like this is just to not offer or highlight the despair that a lot of people feel, because it's really easy for the fear mongering. It's really easy to keep reverberating the negative information. It's really easy to always kind of put emphasis on the negative aspects, because it is not a cut and dry situation when you are dealing with. Now, speaking of me personally and my personal opinion, I don't believe that the government does anything just to help people. I always believe that there are reasons for doing anything for anybody that does not benefit them. Um, Basically, it has to benefit them. In order for them to give anything, they have to feel like they're getting something in return, which is to me why it complicates certain situations, such as, and it makes it so multi-layered and multifaceted with the governmental assistance programs, right? So now, to acknowledge the good, we've got these programs have saved lives during emergencies, when people are in despair, when they're going through transitions, when they're down on their luck, when they don't feel like they really have any other options. Living out on the streets is not a good thing. People being hungry is not a comfortable situation. It will embolden so many different other problems to deal with later on, when you don't feel that you are in a position to just be able to survive, right? It's hot as hell outside. I know for the past week, I've gone outside. Let me tell y'all, I have gone outside, driven in a car with cold AC, maneuvered through traffic, gone and run some errands, taken care of some business, and I come home and I got to take a nap, or I have to sit down for a good hour and gather myself. Now, I'm not saying that heat reacts to me or the same to everybody else, but what I am saying is that I can't imagine not having a recourse or some shelter to go into. So these things I'm not, again, making light of, because there are definitely people that need assistance. However, are we really, let's call it a buck, right? Let's call it down the middle. Do we really have requirements up until now where these changes are being proposed during this administration? Do we have people that are using this as a total lifestyle, making it generational? You have parents, single parents mostly, that have children where the government is their daddy, the government is the enforcer, the government is the one that places the restrictions on there. So if we're going to give you this, then you're going to have to do this, or you're going to have to check in. We got to be all up in your business. We have to monitor your, basically your life, your lifestyle, have access to your finances, know who's in the house. And the biggest component that I want to absolutely bring to the forefront is that it is no secret that you have Section 8 housing and the father can't be in the. So to me, again, I said, if they give you anything, what do they want in return? Why would they not allow the father of the children, the head of the household, the life provider and the life giver, to be amongst his family? And maybe they just need a little bit of help on getting, again, a leg up, or transitioning into some stability, going through some work supplemental programs, some job training, you know, looking where they may want to live, making moves where the mom can be at home with the children while the father is out there seeking employment. And if the woman or the mother can work at home, or she can go out and secure some part-time employment, so the children can have parents, can have a foundation in the home of the family and the unit that is intended for family foundational structure, right? These things matter, but we have a society now where the women just they acquiesce to it. Okay, well, I really don't need them in the house anyway, because as long as I can financially take care of my children, provide them with a roof over their head and give them sustenance, then I don't need the dad in the home. But then you got the children pretty much raising themselves, because now, to me, it encourages and enforces laziness. It kills dreams. It's like you can't really progress and make your ideas, the sky is the limit, and your goals any higher than their restrictions over you, without them threatening to take away the financial support, right? So shout out to the chat. I appreciate y'all. We got Joy Joy in the building. Thank you for coming through, Joy Joy. We got Brooklyn Lady Ellie. We got my sis Yo Thoughts in the building. We got CX in the building. We got Ryan Campbell. I appreciate y'all engaging in the chat. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. So again, we are talking about the governmental programs, how they can be stifling, how they can help, and are they meant to be totally dependent upon for generations, or is it supposed to be a temporary fix and not a long-term solution to life, to a person's sustainability? And that word is going to keep coming up. The next video I want to show is the opinion of a young lady, and she went on Section 8 for a period. And this is what her thought was, because at this point she's not on Section 8. So she's able to make tell the difference of being on Section 8 and then being self-sustainable and able to pay her own bills. And this is her story.
And boom, just like that, Trump then cut y'all Section 8. Then cut your cake and ice cream for you. I always knew that Section 8 was not for the strong. And I'm going to say it just like that. Section 8 is not for the strong, okay? It's not. So those that are educated and capable of getting up, working, get up and do it. I knew a long time ago when I tried it, it wasn't for me, because they tell you how comfortable you can be. How comfortable you can be. I'm not with the program. You're going to go tell me how comfortable I can be. Okay? It's only to get up the ladder. So when I dropped down the ladder, I used it to pick myself back up the ladder. And baby, I'll tell you one thing, I won't be blinking back at the government. They won't tell me what to do and how to do it and how to determine how comfortable I'm going to be. That's bullshit and do. I'm very blessed. I got a job, work from home. I thank God for it. I have a strong Hispanic husband, which I had to beg up on working, because brother man was not going. If he had his way, I would not be working, because what he wanted was, you gonna stay at home, take care of them kids. I'm doing all of this and that. You not. I'm like, but baby, please let me take care of our future. Long story short, I'm blessed. All that to say that y'all just need to get up. Don't let this man determine y'all future, because he can't. He can't. Work. I really just feel bad for those that's incapable of working. I'm gonna be praying for y'all, okay? This is not a joke, not a laughing matter, not something that people should be all blasting around here. Oh, he took your Section 8. That is not funny, y'all. It's not.
So she's making the distinction of absolutely saying, okay, for those that are unable to work, that have physical or mental or have disabilities in general that prevent them from being able to secure full-time employment, take care of a family, et cetera, she ain't talking to y'all. What she's speaking on is she, what it's intended for, that's what she utilized it for. She went in, utilized it, got herself into a better position, and then she no longer needed it. That's the whole point. So Lonnie says, my friend got denied childcare because she put the father name on the application. That goes, or at least it used to be for SNAP benefits as well. The first thing, or one of the main questions that they asked you is, the father, the children, this and that. And it wasn't uncommon for people to say they didn't know who the father was, or they didn't know where he was, or they would give an incorrect name. And to me, that was like a red flag right off the rip. But when you are caught in survival mode and not in sustenance mode or strategy mode, then these are the things that you will acquiesce to and say, okay, well, in order for me to qualify, I got to play the game. I got to do what I got to do. And that's unfortunate because, again, all of these programs have one thing in common, is that they take and remove, in order for you to be approved, the fathers out of the home when you absolutely need these fathers in the home. So shout out to Kwame Brown, the live that he just did where he was showing the violence in the Black community in particular, and given certain circumstances, there is definitely, culturally speaking, such a vast contrast and difference between the Black community and other communities. The video we just saw, she said she married a Hispanic man. Culturally, the women are at home raising the children, and the men go out and work multiple jobs if necessary to provide for his family. That is in many cultures, right? But then we have the Black culture, where guess what? We got more single home families than most other cultures. And look at the results of this being generationally implemented gradually. Again, one of the downfalls of Section 8 housing is that a lot of that, when you are speaking in an environment where people are paying $2,000 in rent, okay, we're not even talking about qualified homeowners or buyers. We're just speaking of renters, how the rent has just escalated to an exponential high in history. And people are struggling, having to work multiple jobs, have multiple hustles, multiple incomes just in order to make rent. Section 8 looks good for a lot of people. But what does it do? To me, it debilitates you. It limits you. It dwarfs and thwarts your growth. It is not okay to sit at the age, in my opinion, of 30 years of age, 40 years of age, and you've done nothing because you couldn't do anything to sustain your Section 8 housing. You don't own anything. You don't possess anything. You don't have dominion over anything. You're not acquiring any assets to leave your children. And so what are you teaching your children? You're teaching your children that we get down to lay down. You're teaching your children that this is how you play the game. In order to maintain this is what you have to do. Children watch what we do and not what we say. So if that is what their environment entails, that's what they're learning, that's what they're going to repeat when they have children. Without the father in the home, how does that teach them to do anything different? How does it teach them to be goal-oriented? Guess what? It just transcends and keeps going this vicious and unproductive cycle of saying, well, I don't need a man in the home. I'll go out here and have these children, and the man don't have to be in the house because my man is the government. And as long as I have learned the system, the ins and outs, how to manipulate it, then guess what? I don't need any goals because a lot of people have goals just in order to pay bills and then die. And that's how a lot of people think. I remember some years ago, I was in my 20s and I was living on the West Coast. And let me just, I was still trying to find my way. So I said, well, let me see what this Section 8 housing and everything. Because I had a friend of mine that was on it. She had 3 children, pregnant with she was a co-worker, but her and I were cool. And she was pregnant with her 4th child. Daddy wasn't in the home, but he was the father of all her children. He lived outside the home and had his own place, and they still were procreating children. And she paid $30 a month for a brand new 3-bedroom apartment. She was the first tenant in the apartment. It was so new, right? So I go to looking. There was a 2-year waiting list. The list was closed, but the people that were currently on the list, so that means you couldn't add anybody else to the list. And the people that were on the list, there was about a 2-year waiting period. So what are you supposed to do for those 2 years? And I couldn't help but think, and then she worked. We worked together. Did she make a lot of money? No, but had she not kept having children without either, having the father in the home, being married or whatever would have improved her circumstances, her situation would have looked different. That would have been doable, right? But it wasn't allowed for him to be in the home. And yet and still, where did her children go? They went to daycare. They went to after school programs. When she got home, she was exhausted from working, but she had to cook. She had to clean. She had to make sure the bills were paid, whatever bills she did have. She had to make sure that the children were not her. She took very, very good care of her children, but I guess you could when you sitting back and you ain't got to pay but $30 in rent. And right now, $30 in rent sure look good, even if you ain't living with your level of expectations being high. Even just having a secured roof over your head, knowing that next month you ain't got to worry too much about where you're going to get $2,000 for rent, right? So it again, to me, in this video, the last video that we saw, the lady she said it's not for the strong. To me, it takes a strong person to experience that kind of a reprieve, right? To be able to go into a unit or a home. Now they've been having them, but there are a lot of people that have houses because they have Section 8 housing where the landlords actually get paid by the government. So they got yards, they got garages, they got multi bedrooms in the units, in the homes, just like if they were paying a mortgage. But the government is paying and subsidizing most of their rent. And again, they come up with a nominal amount. To me, it takes a lot of strength to look at that as being a transitional and a temporary situation. To utilize that time to say, I need some more training. I need some more qualifications in order to be able to do this on my own. And I appreciate the temporary assistance that is being provided. Now, again, we're not talking about the disabled. We're not talking about people that are incapable of going out and working full-time jobs, but we are speaking of young, viable, capable individuals that have enough energy and are well enough to keep procreating and having children, but you can't go out there and work 40 hours a week. Or you can't go to school in order to be able to secure employment where you're actually making a sustainable and livable wage in order to be able to pay your own damn bills. That's just my personal opinion. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Hey, sis, thank you so much. I appreciate you. We got your thoughts in the building with the financial blessing. Thank you. I do have a little goal going, y'all. I think it's set for an hour. So for any, and I almost forgot. So I also do have a couple of different ways that you can bless the platform if you're moved to do so, and if you're able to do so. No pressure, but I do appreciate any and everything that is being blessed to the channel with. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Thank you. What you say, Bolo? I did. And I appreciate that because I have to say, I had a small medical situation in a procedure yesterday, and it really kind of threw me for a loop. I kind of expected some side effects or whatever, but for I woke up, I prayed yesterday. I say, Lord, let me just rest and get some good sleep. And then when I wake up, I'm gonna feel much, much better. And I do. And I'm grateful. So for it to be apparent and I don't look like what I've been through the past 24 hours. Yes, indeed. I appreciate that. Yes, indeed. Thank you. And I think I saw Miss Joy give me a compliment as well. And I appreciate that. I can't find it, but thank you. I appreciate you so much. And I love my chat. I really do. I love the people that I network with and that I socialize with on this platform. Y'all get me through some days. I'm here to tell you, I ain't gonna even lie, right? I'm not gonna even tell a lie. I appreciate everybody's got beautiful qualities. Ain't nobody perfect. We are all flawed, but I'm here to tell you that there are some days where it just really helps. It just really helps. We uplift each other. We have nice things to say about one another. I mean, I know it's kind of like a dichotomy in this particular sector that we in, but there has to be a balance in everything that we do. So I appreciate this balance and I appreciate the people that God has blessed in my midst. I do. I absolutely do. We got CC in the building. She said, I used to be on public aid, no shame. And listen, I've had SNAP, I've had EBT, I ain't never had Section 8, I've had Medicaid, right? They were for very short periods of time, but nonetheless, because see, like for me personally, I don't like being limited. I don't like people telling me what to do. I don't like people putting constraints on my lifestyle. Um, I like nice things. I like to be able to move around and do, and I also like to be able to work and enjoy the fruits of my labor. Not so we don't ever appreciate, in my personal opinion, we don't appreciate things that are given to us as easily as we tend to have more appreciation for things that we put our feet to the soil, into the grind on. It absolutely makes a difference. Well, just look, prime example. Look at the Section 8 housing and the homes, right? Where you have landlords, you have people that actually own those homes that choose to rent them out to government agencies for Section 8. Now, you have a lot of people that won't do that because they don't want their houses torn up. But in a lot of cases, people are not, they don't take care of other people's property because they don't know what it requires to maintain it, to upkeep it, to pay the property taxes on it, to do the renovations, to keep everything in working order. And then they have all these expectations with something that they didn't work for, right? So again, to me, that goes and aligns itself more with it being supposed to be a temporary transitional situation as a permanent situation. Don't you want your own shit? I mean, is it just me? I want my own. I don't when I have something that belongs to somebody else, personally I take extra care of it because if I break it, then I buy it. That has always been what I was taught, what my mentality has been. But if it's your own and you break it, you accountable for you. You're not accountable for making somebody else whole or putting them back in the position that they was in before you took something that belonged to them, whether it was a loan or whether they let you borrow something, whatever the case may be, right? So definitely, I just wanted to make that point. That again, there are so many different talking points that we can actually just kind of cover on this whole topic about people freaking out. And I'm not saying that everybody's not justified, but a lot of people are not. Let's keep it 100. A lot of people have just gotten extremely comfortable when you had the last administration and the Democratic Party, whenever they're in office, whenever they're in tenure, whenever they're always, at the helm of these government agencies, and they're able to put through legislation or propose legislation in order to keep everything where it is, then to me it's more detrimental than it is a positive thing for people, because it definitely limits you. You just cannot stay qualified, not without being honest, not without manipulating, right? And lying and saying, okay, well, no, I'm still following the rules and the regulations of being able to still maintain my housing in order to still be able to get my SNAP benefits. That I used to have women that walked up to me in the bodegas or in the grocery stores, and they'd be ready to sell their SNAP benefits. And I'm like, when I qualified, I didn't qualify for much. It didn't get me through the month, much less have to be in a position to sell something. Why? Because I always worked. I always worked, right? So I just don't understand how people are become so complacent and so comfortable. But I guess when you ain't never had nothing, you don't know how to act. You don't know, you don't really have anything to compare it to and contrast it to. But that's a whole nother story. I don't want to get too far off track. So I just want to say thank you, CC. I appreciate the support. She always, always, always. I just love you. I love your engagement. I love your support. I love you always being present, always interacting. I appreciate everybody. I really, really do. Thank you so very much. So this is okay. So this one particular, because we're going to get it off into some solutions, right? I know I want to save them kind of a little bit later, because I want to present again some of the pros and the cons of what these programs that we're talking about were intended for, how they may have and are being abused, and the sense of entitlement that comes along with you not working for your own. And these are for the ones that are. I believe that culturally, because we're so sensitive, we become so emotional, and I'm talking about as a whole, right? That everybody has become more victim prone. Like, I need this, or I'm a victim, so I need help. There used to be, I don't know, in my generation, we had more pride. We had more get up and go. We had the more of a desire to want to get what I wanted, right? For me to do for thyself, for me to learn how to take care of myself. As a child, I loved being a child, but one of the things I didn't like about being a child was always somebody telling me what to do, because they was taking care of me. And I think one of the desires of growing up and people want to grow up so fast is the first reason is because I don't want nobody to tell me what to do. So if you provide for me, then that means you feel like you got control over me. And I don't like that. I like to be able, especially once I matured and became an adult and I became responsible for myself in the eyes of the law, I wanted to do for myself. And it just seems like we've got way too many folks out here that really believe that other people should be doing for them instead of them doing for themselves, right? So, but before we get to the solutions, I want to show this particular video, and I love this brother's viewpoint. I really, really did, and I want to see if you feel the same. Shout out to the chat.
So, Section 8 housing is on the chopping block. So, in order for Donald Trump to get no tax on overtime, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security passed in his tax cut plan, he is proposing to cut $26.7 billion out of Section 8 housing. Now, to go along with that, he's saying that he wants to put a 2-year cap on the benefits that somebody could receive from Section 8 housing if they don't have a disability.
I think that that is reasonable. 2 years is enough to get an associate's degree. 2 years is enough to go through most programs outside of a 4-year university. But you can even go through an accelerated school program from a 4-year and make it 2 years. They have those options and abilities out here. So I just wanted to notate that and say that a 2-year cap on that is not unreasonable. And it goes along the lines with Phoenix Rising. In her comment, she says people are using these programs as a lifestyle instead of an opportunity to better themselves and get their own. Very well said. The whole point. That's the whole point, right? So definitely, I agree with that.
Which means basically you have 2 years if you able-bodied to get your stuff together. And I think that's more than fair. Why? Because this program was meant to give you a hand up, not for you to ride it till you die, right? So now a lot of people go be in very peculiar situations because they made Section 8 housing a lifestyle, right? And my thing is, I'm one of the hardworking Americans, and they got millions of other hardworking Americans out there that we are tired of going to work, paying into a system for somebody else to sit on their ass. I'm going to say it again. We tired of going to work, paying into a system so that system could pay somebody else to sit on their ass.
Let's talk about that for a minute. Okay? So again, I want to emphasize that we're not speaking on those that are incapable of working physically, mentally, and I'm not talking about those that know how to manipulate the system. That's, there are so many loopholes in the laws that once people learn the loopholes, then, it becomes they become more prone and more apt to use them, right? Or to use them for their benefit. Now, when you have $2,000, you got a lot of people out here paying, and I'm just using that as a staple, a little example of a price point, right? Because a lot of people are paying that $2,000 in rent. Where I remember a time where you could get depending on where you were, but average in a lot of states, you could get like a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment for rent for maybe $600-700 at one point. Like if you around my age, you remember them type of days, right? But and that wasn't super long ago, right? So you don't even have to be my age. I want to correct myself on that. But when you have memories or experiences, and now you're paying about $1,700 for the same apartment, that's about $1,000 more, which is requiring a lot of people because the wages really aren't going up. And when people fight for an increased livable wage, you get into all these pushbacks from the corporations. They start doing layoffs, they don't want to give out retirement They don't want to give medical. They don't want to offer any incentive programs for you to stay on board. No anniversaries. It's like it's a bad word for you to actually make a livable wage. But where the disparity and the contrast is just, it don't make sense. There's no meeting in the middle. So now, because the wages really aren't going up, guess what? The money isn't stretching. People are having to work multiple jobs. You got to pay taxes on all this labor that you're putting in, no matter what your job is, no matter if you own your own business, no matter if you do have a side hustle. By law, we're supposed to pay taxes on that. But then you got people sitting at home, some people that are able-bodied individuals that are just having children to secure in their minds their positions, and we're paying for that. We're paying. You think that people aren't gonna, be more? So what he's saying is that, okay, Trump is actually looking to reallocate some of that money, whether it's to people, the working people, no taxes on tips. That's a big deal. No taxes on overtime. A lot of people are having to work overtime. For those that do work overtime, especially if your employer offers it on a regular basis, or you can work it periodically, guess what? You really don't even see the overtime because so much of it is going to taxes that money can be reallocated into the person that is actually getting their asses up and going to work to provide it for their family. It can go back into their household instead of going into a Section 8 home with a single mom that don't feel like she got to do nothing but be a mom, and not even an active mom. Okay, that's a whole nother live stream. I was getting ready to go left, but I'm not gonna go left. People are absolutely abusing the system. That's the problem. But see, if you only got 2 years, that is a big difference between having 2 years to abuse the system versus 20 years to abuse the system. You, at some point, there's going to become a super imbalance. And guess who pays the price? It's usually the ones that get up, go to work multiple jobs, and pay taxes. Okay, so I just wanted to insert that, and let's continue.
Those days are over. And particularly to the black community, this is a huge, huge win for us. Let me tell you why. So this is where it all went wrong. Whenever the government tried to step in and say, we gonna pay for everything, they completely destroyed our black communities. They gave us Section 8 housing. They gave us all type of government aid. They took fathers out the house. They built all our schools and stuff in the communities around Section 8. And now we don't pay no taxes to get stuff up for the upkeep of schools or anything in our communities. Now they look bad. And what this is gonna do is this is gonna uplift our community, get able-bodied people back to work, and in turn, we're going to be able to put more taxes of our hard-earned money into our communities. And that's what it's about. Now, you're going to have all of these socialists, liberals. They love to talk about they're cutting out welfare and all that. But they never sit down and tell you their plan to get the people off of welfare. Well, I'm here to tell y'all the way you get off welfare to get your stuff together. We have a lot of opportunities out there, whether it's trade, college, being an entrepreneur. You don't have to spend a ton of money. You just have to put your mind together and get something that works for you.
There are options. There are many options for those with many different types of characteristics, capabilities, personalities, age groups. Now, what that entails is going to depend on you. But It's not going to come knocking on your door. It's not going to come calling your phone saying, I got an opportunity for you. I mean, there's a lot of scams and stuff out there, but I'm talking about something that's sustainable, that's long term, and that is ultimately beneficial for not just you, but for your family. Again, children imitate and emulate what the parents do, not what they say. And now we have a lot of parents that don't even say anything different than what they do, which is a double reinforcement of keeping that same mindset and that same chains around the ankles going, handcuffs around the hands. Where is the dream in that? Where are the aspirations? Is there a ceiling? Is there a threshold where you will absolutely say, okay, well, now I've got my associate's degree. Now I want to go do a trade, or I want to get my bachelor's, or I want to get my master's. There's a sacrifice in everything. And this is the problem. Joy says this one lady said that she's been on Section 8 for 24 years. How? I just don't get it, y'all. I really don't understand it.
The days of being lazy is over. The days of people going to work just so you could sit on the couch is over. Now, a lot of people will go say a lot of disrespectful stuff in the comments about, well, you tap dancing and all that. No, I'm being realistic. I'm tired of seeing our young generation have to go to schools that haven't been upgraded since you went there 20 years ago. Because we built a school in the hood, in the ghetto, where ain't nobody paying taxes. And then you're going to have some people that say, what about the people, the single women?
Not only are these people not paying taxes, but they're getting, if they work part-time or they have any type of employment that is taxable employment, guess what? They're getting earned income credit almost every single year in the tunes of thousands of dollars. Again, where is this money coming from? Yo, I just want to say this. This is not fear mongering, y'all. This is a wake up call. This is an absolute cry and call and vocal implementation to say that you are not stuck, you are not powerless, you are not hopeless, that it can absolutely be done even in the times that we are living in of inflation. It's just the will and the desire to be self-sustainable. This is what we're lacking in our communities. This is what we're lacking.
That have 6 kids and she's doing it by herself. Well, let me tell y'all something. Yes, life is hard for some people, but having kids is your free choice. It's your choice. Whenever you go to the store with $100, do you go up in there and say, I'm going to spend $200 worth for groceries? No, you do not. If you're only making $20,000 a year, stop going to the baby making factory. That's common sense. And I'm tired of pretending that it's not. I'm tired of pretending. Now, could life happen to some people? Maybe they lose somebody. Maybe they lose their husband or their wife or something. Absolutely. And those people should be assisted. And I would advocate for those people to be assisted. But that's not the norm, and that's not the case in most situations.
So I just wanted to give a little clippet of his perspective on that, because he's absolutely right. Now, I'm going to tell you what bothers me as an example. It always did. And even when I qualified and I was on EBT, guess what? I didn't have 2 and 3 cartfuls. First of all, they never gave me that much money. And even if they did, I still wouldn't have had that kind of greed to load up 2 and 3 cartfuls full of food. But then you got the mama behind you that can't qualify because she made $20 over the requirement to qualify to get any type of SNAP or EBT benefits, and she got a little, either, a few items in her bucket, or she's got one of those little baskets with 5 or 6 items in it, and got to wait behind you to spend your tax money, because guess what? You can't spend it. You spending what you made and what's left over from all your bills so you can try to feed your family and yourself. So when he said, when you go to the grocery store, you got $100, do you spend $200? I understand his point, but when you are getting to the tune of thousands of dollars or several hundred per month, and you all of a sudden hear the administration say, okay, well, now we're restricting or we're tightening the work requirements. We are giving you some parameters and time constraints on how long you can be on this program if you are of working age. One of the biggest objections that I saw on some of these videos was when they've taken, or they're proposing to take, the age from birth to 18 to birth to 7. So anywhere from 7 to 18, you got to work more hours, if I'm interpreting that right, that part of the bill right, in order to qualify to feed those children between the ages of 7 and 18. And they are in an uproar. So I would propose to say that I would say a majority of the ones that are offended by that, a lot of them are probably having children to secure their situations and their positions in order to make this a lifestyle. Okay, so there's a lot that's wrong with the system, and there's nothing wrong with it being tweaked. There will be some casualties of war in all of that. There will be people that will be affected, but that's in anything in life. We make it through somehow. We find a solution. Speaking of solutions, I want to show this next video. I'm not going to make this a terribly long live, but I wanted to show some solutions, because we can talk about the pros, the cons, the manipulating aspect of, governmental assistance, and from governmental programs administered and made available from the government, which to me, you need to be questioning some things. But there are some of the restrictions before I do that video, I want to do the video where there's no more junk food. Now, people are in an uproar about that too, believe it or not. Now, in some of the videos I saw, I could understand by looking at the ones that were objecting why they would feel that way, because it looks like their diet consists of a lot of junk food or a lot of sugar-based foods, as opposed to fresh fruits, vegetables, things that are needed for sustenance, things that promote good health, things that are the basics of the food chain, right? Seeds, being able to buy seeds where you can go grow your own food. I don't know how we've gotten so far away from that. They've been successful in getting us to do so, but we got to get back to that. We have to get back, because there's so much wrong with the food now. We don't have any control over the food. We don't know what's being done to the food. We don't know the sources of the food. Most things that we eat now are either seedless or GMOs. And so, when you're talking about heirloom seeds where they're able to reproduce every time you plant some new seeds, as opposed to them not being able to reproduce, it presents a whole new issue. So let's just watch this video real quick, and then we're going to get to the solutions, and then we're going to get up on out of here and go on with our day. Okay?
Ooh, I'm about to piss some people off. Okay. This is a PSA announcement for every single person who receives SNAP benefits. Moving forward, I don't know when this is going to be implemented, but you need to check your state website and pay attention, okay? Because as soon as this is implemented, you will not, I repeat, will not be able to buy junk food. Sodas, okay, candies, cakes, ho-hos, Okay, don't be surprised at the register when they tell your ass this is not or does not qualify for your SNAP benefits, or you can't buy it with your SNAP benefits, so you have to come out of pocket. Okay, again, don't be surprised when you're at the cashier station and they tell you, we need X amount of dollars for that big old chocolate cake that you want to eat. Okay, they're telling you that this SNAP benefit moving forward will only be for healthy food. And that is it. No preservatives. I don't know additives. I don't know what poison. I don't know what the regulation is going to say, but it's coming. When? I have no idea, but you better keep watching out for it so you won't be surprised.
I agree with that 110%. First of all, if you're a parent, you should want to feed your child or your children the healthiest options out there. Fruits, vegetables from the ground, things you can pronounce. If you're picking up items in a grocery store and you can't pronounce the ingredients on the back, or if there's so many that are incomprehensible, and that's by design, by the way. They do that in order to confuse you, because they know that if they give it another name, as opposed to saying poison or saying what is the thing that they spray on the fruits and vegetables to keep the insects off of them. If they put those terms like those in the ingredients, people aren't going to buy them. So they found a way to normalize speaking a different language in the ingredients. But if you can't pronounce them, guess what? Pass it up. It's not the healthiest option for your family, for yourself, for your children, for your spouse, for anybody that's connected to you. To me, that's the biggest gift that you can give people that you love, is things that promote good health. So you should be promoting things that we eat that is a healthier option than all of this junk food. If you want to go buy some junk food, go work and find another way to pay for it instead of using the taxpayers' money. You got people that go to work multiple jobs that can't afford junk food. I remember when junk food used to be cheaper than the healthier foods, unless you grew your own, right? But I'm just saying, like, from the price point in the grocery stores, now it seems to have flipped, but everything is expensive. It's not cheaper to buy poison than it is to buy healthier food. So why not just restrict it and limit it to what you can buy? You can't even keep crab legs in the doggone grocery store on the 1st through the 5th of the month. They're always sold out. I can't go and get crab legs. Well, I don't eat them like that, no way. But if I could, I'm not going and buying crab legs and doing cookouts and doing all of this to feed the neighborhood or to feed, my peoples. If I come from a big family, do, social events and all of that. So you're using taxpayers' money because you ain't got no job. You ain't going nowhere and doing nothing. At some point, it just makes sense to make some adjustments. This is not fair. It's not righteous. It's not beneficial in the long run for any of us. For even the ones that's eating the crab legs or the oysters or whatever it is, the hors d'oeuvres, right? And in a minute, they're going to be wanting alcohol to be covered by EBT, but I digress. Let's go on to the solutions, y'all.
Here are 6 things you need to know because SNAP emergency benefits are ending. My name is Salam. I'm an attorney, and I like to educate people about the benefits that are available to help them put food on the table. Pandemic SNAP benefits are ending. Households will see an average of nearly $200 less SNAP benefits a month. Now, during a time of crazy inflation, have you seen egg prices? That drop in SNAP benefits is really scary. First off, make sure you know how to find your local food bank or food pantry, which will help you put food on the table by visiting this website, findfoodsupport.withgoogle.com. Number 2, sign up to have groceries you need delivered to your door for free. There is a wait list for this website, so please do register now in the case that you need it later. It's fullcart.org. Find a community fridge and take what you need or give what you can. Here's a photo of me when my friends and I made a bunch of sandwiches and put them into our local community fridge. So go to freedge.org. It's like a pun on fridge, like free fridge, freege. Fourthly, you can request a lasagna or homemade meal from a volunteer in your area. Go to lasagnalove.org to either make a request or see how you can sign up to help. Now, if you currently have SNAP benefits, then look for a farmer's market near you that will double and some even triple your SNAP dollars, which can help make your SNAP food stamp benefits go even further. So check out doubleupamerica.org to find a farmer's market near you that is participating. And this is a great way to put more produce into your diet and nutrition. Finally, recalculate your expenses and deductions for SNAP to see if you'll be eligible for more benefits. Now, if you're over 60 or have a disability, you want to make absolutely sure that you've entered in all your medical expenses because there's a medical expense deduction for you. To find out more about the deductions that may apply to you and to actually calculate to see how much you could get in SNAP, go to snapscreener.com.
So there are absolutely other options that probably require a little more footwork, a little more perseverance to look and see what is out there and what is available. For those that may be interested, feel free to go back and just, during the live or whatever, after the live has ended, and then write down some of those websites. Hopefully that post is not that old, so that some of that, well, most of that information should not be outdated, right? Definitely wanted to give some type of recourse for those because there are people that are in need that are not as self-sufficient as others that absolutely need some assistance. Again, it should be temporary though, because you should be solution oriented enough to be seeking more long-term and more permanent outcomes that provide more stability than depending on other people to supplement and to provide your survival needs on a day-to-day basis. So yes, Miss Yo, we did kind of, I kind of slid past that, but thank you for circling back around. Absolutely. For those that don't know, you can find seeds with food stamps, and for those that may not be aware, look for heirloom seeds. Okay, heirloom seeds, absolutely. Because a lot of the GMO seeds are not going to reproduce. If you plant them and they're not sprouting after a certain period of time during the planting season, that's a good indication that those aren't heirloom seeds. Thank you, O Speaks. Yes. Insecticides, pesticides, sugars, and dyes. There you go. That's it. That's what, if they put those terms, which is in a lot of the foods. I mean, sugar definitely is on there, but they even camouflage the dyes into numbers, right? Number 5, number 3, number 7. Who in the hell knows or is going to do research to see the derivative and the origin of where those dyes are coming from? Okay. And dyes are not good for us, period. Insecticides, pesticides. I'm telling you, I went through a period where I was starving myself because I wasn't in a position to grow my own food. And even organic foods have less of them on there, but unless you're getting it from a farm or a backyard, typically there are some level of pesticides on your produce, on your fruits and vegetables. Listen, this ain't about speed, it's about consistent growth. We need to get back to encouraging people and to uplifting people and to reminding people that, guess what, you can do this. I can't imagine having to depend at this stage of my life on somebody else to provide me with things that I need to survive. And even if I did get help or assistance here or there, I always got a plan B, a C going on. Because why? I know that it's temporary. And I know that as long as somebody else has control over what goes on in your life and what you get and what you don't get, that it's not permanent and it's not guaranteed. So if it's not guaranteed, then I'm not going to be at ease or comfortable with that solution, temporary or not, right? So yes, CC, you need your seeds. Amen. I did see I saw a comment. Hold on. Shout out to Salaya Ben, y'all. Thank you for coming through. And shout out to my members. We got Joy Joy. We got Yo Thoughts. Most of my mods are members, and I appreciate the support on that, you guys. Thank you so very much. If y'all don't mind, I didn't drop it or pin it. If somebody could drop maybe my membership link into the chat, I would be super, super grateful and appreciative. Thank you so much. Y'all, we're gonna see one more little short clip video and then we're gonna wrap it up and move on with our day. And this let me see, there was one, some of the rules of the snaps, just in case you have people wondering that are not familiar with the program, especially with the new rules. This young lady, I'm gonna implement and insert her link on TikTok because she has a page where she works. Actually, she's a social worker, so she works with and has been for the past 10 years, and she has her whole page is dedicated to educating people on governmental assistance, and the rules and regulations, the changes in legislation to keep everybody posted, up to date, and current with the current laws that are in place and how it can affect you, how you can maneuver around it, and other options. So I will do that once the live has ended, but let's just watch this and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Peace to the chat.
I have processed hundreds of SNAP cases, and here are some things that people don't know when they come into the office to apply for SNAP benefits. Now, before I get started, let me make a disclaimer. These things may not apply in your specific state. The only way to be sure if they apply in your state would be for you to go to your local food stamp office and speak to a caseworker. All right, number one, we can tell when you win the lottery. I'm gonna need my people to understand that when you're dealing with a state or government agency, they can most likely see your interactions with other state or government agencies, the lottery being one of them. So in my specific state, you are required to report lottery winnings over $4,250. If you don't, they're going to find out and they're going to penalize you. Another one is we can see when someone in your household gets arrested. Again, one state agency being the public aid office, the other state agency being the prison system. They communicate with each other. And they communicate with each other because it's against SNAP policy to receive SNAP benefits while you're in jail. So that particular person will be removed from the SNAP case. Another one is we use gross income and not net income. Gross income is what's on your pay stubs before any deductions are taken out, like taxes or child support or anything like that. And net income is what's left over. We always use gross income when determining if you're eligible for SNAP benefits. And if I'm not mistaken, that applies in all states. Another thing, college students are usually not eligible for SNAP benefits. I requested clarification on this particular policy a few years ago from a previous manager, and the way that it was explained to me was, this is a very old, outdated policy, and it was written at a time where going to college was only something that rich people did. So this policy has not been revised since then, so that's why most college students are not eligible for SNAP benefits. The only way to get around this would be for the college student to either be in a federal work-study program or working somewhere else at least 20 hours a week. Another one is there may be a penalty on your SNAP benefits if you voluntarily quit your job. This policy in my particular state was recently suspended. I heard that it might be coming back, but how it works is if you voluntarily quit your job, you will be banned from receiving any SNAP benefits for the next 30 days. And the last one is your kids living with you that are under the age of 22 are not allowed to get their own SNAP benefits. This is the case even if that person has a baby. The only way that they will be eligible for their own SNAP benefits is if they do not reside with either of their parents. As long as they are living with you, they would have to be under your SNAP case. They cannot have their own. So I hope this video was helpful.
Yes, indeed. So it was helpful. And again, her page I put into the chat, abundantly.crystal, her entire page. She's got a lot of great information on her page. So feel free to go and support and check her out. We got Nanani in the building. Blessings, Miss Akemi. Blessings, peace and blessings to you as well. Thank you so much for the support and the contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody that has come through and that has just graced me with your presence, with the engagement, with the information in the chat. I love the chat because it absolutely, you not saying that everything is 100% right, but it's people's personal truths and experiences coming into one area, and it can definitely help somebody, right? So thank you, Joy, for dropping that link. I appreciate you so much. For those that I've gotten some new subs, I just want to say thank y'all. I appreciate you. Please don't forget to set your notifications to all. I'm really giving it a valiant effort to go live more, or to at least do uploads. We got me and Miss Yo pushing and launching our new channel called Yo Kimmy. We're going to be doing more content on that. That channel is going, at least as of now, is going to be structured more around family. Whatever topics can affect any parts of the family unit, the family core, lifestyles, relationships, parenting, schooling, whatever, drops in our spirit, and whatever we can come together and agree on, we can definitely do more content on that as well. So keep an eye out for that, because I just love doing lives with her. I love convening with her. She's such a wonderful source of wisdom, definitely refreshing. I appreciate everything and everybody that has come through today. That's pretty much all I got, y'all. So no long outros. I definitely, for those, I know I'm forgetting something, y'all. I am a little, I know it seems a little apparent. Normally I don't mention it, but I know I'm a little off today, but it's okay. I still wanted to go live, and I still made it my business to do so. Hopefully I was able to convey at least most of my thoughts without complication, and give me some grace for those that I struggled a little bit with, right? So again, I want to start having some of these uncomfortable conversations, because in order to find resolution, sometimes you got to work through the things that are complicated, that are uncomfortable, that are unsettling, that people are very opinionated about across the board. You're going to have your yin and your yang to every conversation, but we can't shy away from the hard topics from time to time. And definitely want to become, what do they say? There's a saying that if it ain't, it's mine, okay? An informed person is a capable person. So it makes you more aware, more capable, having more options, having more information, as long as you are in a mindset to be able to implement something, that a system into your life that will benefit you, that will benefit your family, that will benefit the generational outcomes, especially if you have children, and your children will hopefully have their children. And that's what they call lineage. That's important. It doesn't seem like we're taught that anymore. It doesn't seem like that's the ground stone for our families when I say that, I mean overall anymore. And it is the foundation. Without that, just like a tree, if the roots don't cement themselves in the soil, then the tree does not grow. There are storms that can't knock certain trees over because of the power and the integration of the roots into the soil, into the ground. And that's family, in my opinion, right? So we have to talk about things more that affect our mindsets that our little people are looking at, because again, that's what they're going to base their movement, their decisions off of, is the examples that you set, right? So with that being said, y'all, let's make self-sufficiency a goal again. Let's make it okay to be self-sufficient for those that are able. And let's pray for those that are not, okay? That they continue to get the help that they need. And it will free up hopefully some of the resources and the availability for those that really need it, as opposed to those that just want it because they don't have enough confidence in themselves, they don't have enough self-esteem to feel that they can do it, or they just plain lazy. So either way it goes, some changes need to be made. Okay. I appreciate everybody. Thank you for coming through. And I'm out.